Do they say something yet?
Okay, everybody's cameras off.
We're gonna wait another minute and then we're gonna get started. Well, there's been a, well, no, there's more. Well, I know Erin doesn't have homework today, but those of you who are on the Zoom may, so we're going to get started. We would hate to interrupt those senior papers that you're doing, but we are so glad that you joined us this evening. This is a casual environment. We're going to talk about our Road to Rocky Top path, provide a little basic information from both of our leads on these programs, talk a little bit about the selection process, and then open to questions. My name is Norma Harrington. I'm a Senior Associate Director in Undergraduate Admissions at the University of Tennessee. I have been with the admissions office for a very short 40 years. I've seen a lot of applications in my tenure at UT. And I can say within the last several years, we are providing opportunities that we had not previously. When we reviewed our applicants, we only had two choices, admit or deny. Several years ago, we talked about the opportunities for students who showed academic strength, but could use the support mechanisms of additional advisors and mentors that would help them succeed at the University of Tennessee. The Bridge program with our community college system was born from that realization that you have students who have the background. So they have the academic skills to, if they're supplemented by our academic teams, that they could thrive as readily in University of Tennessee's classrooms than other students. What's exciting is that we have a Bridge program with Pellissippi. That's our community college Knoxville-based program that students would, and I'll let Stephanie.
Patrick, if you can, this would be good for you to hear.
We'll talk about in a moment. Within the last couple of years, not our Pellissippi Bridge program is a wonderful fit for a lot of our students, but other students have additional interests, and we're looking for another pathway, and our Verdo partners provided that additional element. So when we were reviewing your applications, we determined that you were that basic student who had good skills, but that we felt that could benefit with additional support. This program, the Road to Rocky Top path, is an invitation only. Not everyone got it. We did deny students. We gave you this opportunity, if it works in your plans, to select a Bridge component or perhaps a Verdo component, and that provides advisors instruction on a better one-to-one level, a cohort of students that provide support. So our students are housed together, and I'll let Stephanie Langley, who's our Bridge coordinator, and Shawnee Edwards, who's our Verdo coordinator, give you the details, and additional questions you can ask of me. Stephanie, can you start with our Bridge program?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you, Norma. So my name is Stephanie Langley. I am an assistant director in first year programs and run the Volunteer Bridge program here on the UT side. So I'm really glad that you all could join us tonight. I think it's really important to take some time and really investigate both of these programs and choose the one that you think is the best fit for you. I think all of us on this call really want the students to do what's best for themselves. So please ask a lot of questions. I'll put my email address in the chat. Please email me so we can continue the conversation. But yes, the Volunteer Bridge program. So in this program, you take a year of classes at our local community college, Pellissippi State Community College. And if you meet certain requirements, then you transfer to UT after 1 year. The majority of our Volunteer Bridge students live on campus. You have the UT student life. You really are integrated into campus as a volunteer, but you're getting your kind of academic feet strong and sturdy over at the community college. We have a really strong partnership with the community college. We work with their advising and their financial aid, and we have a really amazing partnership with them. So for students, we offer academic support in the form of academic coaching. We have monthly seminars. You will be provided a mentor who had just finished their bridge year and is now successfully transferred over to UT. And we have all of the academic support available at the University of Tennessee, including tutoring in the Writing Center. You can go to the library. You have a vol card. So you pay for, and we hope you use all the services available at the university. Likewise, you have at your advantage at the community college, you have small classes. You have faculty members that know your name. Most of our students attend a branch of the Pellissippi campus that's about 3 miles away. It's conveniently located. And again, that staff is it's just a very hands-on environment, which is different than I think the first year experience at the university would be. So I think the advantage of doing the Volunteer Bridge program is that you get a lot of academic support in an environment that is where you're going to get a lot of one-on-one attention, but you also are living the UT life. I'll go ahead and answer one question I'm sure will come up, which is yes, you can get football tickets. You can cheer on the Vols. You can play intramural sports. There's a long list of things you can't do, a very short list of things that you're not allowed to do. So that's the advantages of the program. And I look forward to any questions that you might have following the talk today.
And Stephanie, they are housed as a cohort together, correct?
Yes. So the majority of the Volunteer Bridge students live together in a living learning community on campus. So it is a very cohort. You're basically on 2 floors of a residence hall on UT's campus. And we do a lot of programming around that as well. We have found a lot of times Volbridge, we call them bridge students. Once you get here, that's just shorthand. Bridge students room together, end up sort of rooming together all 4 years and graduate together. It's an amazing opportunity to make what is a very large university much, much smaller, and to really make those friendships and you're in the same boat with all those students. So it is really nice.
And there's a support mechanism at Pellissippi as well. So we consider it a 2-factor punch because we have folks at both institutions who are watching for academic success and planning for that. Thank you, Stephanie. Shawneen, and we can come back to questions. Can you share a bit about our VRTA program?
Sure, absolutely, happy to. So I totally agree with what Stephanie had to say. We want to make sure that you are choosing the best pathway for you. And for some, that bridge program is going to be exactly what you're looking for, and it meets your needs. For other students, the Virto Vols pathway is going to be more of a better fit for you. So this Virto Vols semester is 1 semester that you do with us and then go back into UT on campus as a full student in the spring. We offer 3 international locations for you to have an amazing transformational semester with really great cross-cultural experiences. We have a semester in London, we have a semester in Milan, and we have a semester in Costa Rica. And so the semesters in London and Milan are campus-based semesters where you're going to school at a campus on at a study center or a university and taking classes more in a traditional format as a regular college would be. The Costa Rica semester is a field semester. It's based more on hands-on projects like rescuing baby sea turtles, getting them back to the ocean, or maybe building a well for a community that doesn't have clean running water, those kind of things. And so for students that are looking for a less traditional path, this is a great way to do that. We have a big focus on personal growth and discovery. Every student that enrolls with Verto has access to a one-on-one academic success coach. And this is someone that will help you if you're struggling with a course, or even if there's a single assignment you don't understand, for example, to really troubleshoot it with you before it gets to be a problem or affect your grade. And we send grades back to UT mid-semester, so they know how you're doing, and they're getting excited and ready to welcome you on in the spring. What's great about it right now is we've had such a good interest level from UT students that if you choose one of these locations, chances are very good that about half of the students in the semester with you would be UT students. So especially with London and Costa Rica, we've had great response to both of those locations. And then it's a real straightforward transition back to UT in the spring. They would like you to get a 3.0 GPA during your time with us, and then be able to go back in the spring. If your GPA comes in between a 2.5 and a 3.0, you still would not have to reapply to UT at all. They would just want to review your application again holistically using their holistic process. So it might mean another short essay, or maybe a letter of recommendation from one of your Verto instructors. But for students that are curious about the world and are itching to get out and do something different after being cooped up with COVID for a year, for some, this is the perfect pathway. So.
And I'd like to add, our Verto partners work with Richard Bland College. So they are affiliated with a fully accredited, and we have vetted the courses that our students are taking through the Verto program for transferability. So they meet gen ed requirements, some of elective credit, but for mom and dad, they are accruing hours and successfully completing coursework, because we
Yes.
And we are hopeful that everyone will do well. And so in October, when Verto sends us midterm grades from Richard Bland, we hope that we can make a conditional admission, because we want you to be able to set up your housing, your orientation for spring. The distinction from the one semester versus two with Bridge, again, it's smaller, a smaller cohort with our Verto partners, one-on-one with that collegiate preparation. And so you simply would make a choice relative to, and forgive me, that's my golden doodle, Verto versus the Road to Rocky Top pathway. Both programs generate a wonderful cohort of orange wearing balls. So to see orange in England, or to see orange in Pellissippi's community college walking through the hallways, were well known. Bridge, a very established program and a wonderful pathway to transfer admission. So correct me if I'm wrong, Stephanie, Bridge students will have accrued 30 hours or
24 transferable hours and a 2.0 GPA.
So
just to clarify, Norma, in the Verto semester, students would be receiving 12 to 16 credits that would be transferable.
okay, thank you. And again, how do you prove you can do college work? By doing college work. So this is a great opportunity to have the advisors and the mentors and working on assignments and living, if you're living together in both situations, just you might be in England or you might be in Clement Hall on campus. But opportunities to get the support mechanism that will build on the foundation that you have in high school. Does anyone have questions or clarification relative to the programs, what's expected?
Hi, I do. My name's Christy Yang. Thank you so much for hosting this to explain it a little bit in live, but with the Verto program, could you repeat what is the GPA again? That is what he's shooting for, what my child's shooting for?
Yes. UT would like students to shoot for a 3.0 during their semester with Verto. And then if the grades happen to come in between that 2.5 and 3.0,
Yeah.
that little gray area there, that's when they would reevaluate the application based on their holistic process. Most
Okay.
students, if they will make use of that academic success coach, they are not going to have a problem getting a 3.0 if they are self-motivated and they're dedicated students. Just like you said, you learn college work by doing college work, and if they'll do that and make use of that resource, it will work out great for them. Thanks.
And another follow-up question, given the COVID situation, Verto's plans are moving forward for the fall. It's going to happen. Our children are going to get to go. Is that what you're intending?
You know, that's such an awesome question, because right now, of course, things are kind of tenuous in Italy, for example. So as of right now, we're very optimistically looking forward to being able to run the program in Italy in the fall. We currently have students in London and Costa Rica that are having an amazing time. You can follow Verto on Verto Education on Instagram and see some of the pictures they're sending back. But here's how it works. If for some reason we have to suspend one location or another, Verto Vol students will have the opportunity to choose one of the other two locations in plenty of time to make all the different arrangements and have their families well positioned to be able to go to the other location.
Thank you. That's great.
I have a question about Verto.
Sure.
So a couple of things. So Spanish language. My son is potentially interested in Costa Rica. So how much Spanish background should a student going into that program have to be prepared?
That's a great question. Also, so we have a Spanish 101 and a Spanish 102 that are available to students. So they will take students that have zero Spanish and take them from where they're at academically and help move them forward. So he shouldn't worry if he doesn't have any Spanish. If he has a background in high school Spanish, that's awesome too, because he might be, and the student success coach that works with students once they have enrolled with us will help determine whether he needs to go into Spanish 101 or Spanish 102 based on his previous high school experience.
Okay, thank you. And then just one more question about the program, and that's just, is there any more detail, any more color that you all can provide about the transition to UT in the spring, how that works, just because so much orientation takes place for students around fall?
Sure, absolutely. So we have been told by UT that there will indeed be an orientation for students when they get back in the spring. But what happens is when students get their email from the UT portal during their Verto semester, UT keeps in really good close touch with your family to make sure that you're aware of their deadlines for housing and payments and signing up for classes, although their spring semester doesn't start until January 24th. So you'll have plenty of time once students return from that fall semester to sign up for classes. But I would just encourage you and your student, if you do choose the Verto option, to make sure that they're paying really close attention to that UT student portal to make sure that they're getting the necessary communication. Norma, is there something else you'd add to that?
I would. Your student is already an applicant. We aren't requiring another application. Once we realize that your student is going, working with our Verto program and going overseas, we're going to convert them to a transfer student. So we're going to take that freshman application and convert it to transfer, and we're going to hold them for midterm grades from Richard Bland. We try to make a conditional admission in October. Our students want to know when they can do the next steps. So when housing opens up for spring, they want to be in line with everyone else. So we try to do it in a timely fashion so that they can
Mhm.
for orientation, which will be online, and then housing. We want them to feel confident that next steps have been completed. They don't, that, if you're overseas, you feel you could a little bit removed from it. We want to take care of that. And that's why there is no additional application process. We're going to convert that freshman to transfer and try to minimize any kind of angst our students would have in getting things done.
Thank you.
There's another question with your hand up. Go ahead.
I just had a short question about the State Department had just come out yesterday with a do not travel to like 80% of the world, which would include Milan and London. What happens if all three of those locations are not able to happen for Verdo?
So it's interesting because we just got from our safety and risk management director information on that today. And what the email that he sent us said, we know you're going to get questions about this. And what it is that what it did was it raised the elevation of travel warning for lots of destinations. Like you said, about 80% of the countries worldwide. Here's what it said. For Verto, this altered the travel rating for London and Costa Rica and Italy. The adjustment, however, doesn't actually change the status of health and safety on the ground, nor our students' well-being, since we are continually evaluating our programming based on many factors. So what does that mean for the fall? Current semesters are continuing to run as normal, meaning with enhanced safety measures in place. There are no situations currently that would indicate a necessary change to our planning and program delivery with yesterday's update. We continue to monitor every destination closely and in partnership with our local partners, International SOS, which is one of the main people we partner with, groups we partner with, and the teams on the ground. Fall 2021 semesters will continue to be evaluated on an ongoing basis. We are not making any changes at this point as we monitor each destination separately and thoroughly. So it's not to say that there couldn't be changes. It's just that this early on in the process, we are not ready to say that we're suspending any of those locations.
Okay.
And truthfully, I don't think it's likely that we would suspend all of the locations. We'd have to really take a huge step backward with COVID in order for that to happen. All of our students have had to have COVID testing and they had to quarantine when they got there. So we had a lot of enhanced safety measures in place for them to be able to do this semester. Costa Rica's done a great job at lowering the curve on their COVID cases. And so they knew that we'd be getting questions about this new thing that came out yesterday, but they're being pretty positive moving forward.
Shawnee, would you like to speak to what happened to the students who selected Verdo last year?
Absolutely. So in the fall,
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario. So we have a scenario plan, and I was really happy that Verto was so proactive with this. So scenario A was we run the programs as they're listed. Scenario B was we had to suspend certain locations because of COVID. And then we had students, as I mentioned, would have the opportunity to choose another location that was still open. Unfortunately, for this last fall, 2020, we had to go to scenario C, which was nobody's favorite, and it certainly wasn't ideal. And we did have to run a fully virtual semester. Now, that was like nobody's favorite idea, but you know what? We had hundreds of students that stuck with us and did that because they wanted to get those credits, and then they were able to go back to UT in the spring, and they're there now. So that is worst case scenario, Heather, and unfortunately it had to happen, and a lot of that was out of our control. If we have to suspend all locations and your student chooses not to do the virtual semester, the deposit that you put in or any money that you had paid into Verto would be refunded. But you have to be careful because you couldn't then at that point say, oh, I'm going to go back and do the bridge program. Do you see what I'm saying? Because they've also, is that correct, Stephanie? Because you've also got your deadlines and things. I would assume that you want to have things lined up pretty much ahead. what are your comments on that?
On the timeline,
Yeah,
we asked students to confirm by May 3rd. But
Same here.
if you're really interested in the program and you definitely want to live on campus, I would suggest doing it sooner. Our housing will fill up, and we are first come, first serve on housing. And so like literally every day we're getting more students confirming housing. So that's our other sort of deadline to consider. But May 3rd is when we ask students to confirm by.
and that's the same with us. We had a May 3rd deadline. I can tell you that right now, Verto has about 150 students headed to Costa Rica and 72 confirmed for London and 54 for Milan. So, there are students that are confident that those locations are going to go, and they've put their confidence in us to be able to provide a strong academic program, as well as all the wonderful travel experiences that go along with Verto.
Any other questions or clarity that we can provide?
I do. So in London, it says you share a flat with 4 to 5 students.
That's
Would
correct.
would those be UT students, or could that be other schools too?
Your actual roommate is guaranteed to be a Verto student, and most likely in those cohorts where we have high numbers of UT students, while I couldn't guarantee it, it would be likely that if we had enough young men, your actual roommate would be a UT student. But again, I cannot guarantee that 100%. The other thing depends on how many students sign up for a certain location. We try to put as many Verto students in a flat as we can. But again, depending on how many students sign up, it might be possible that a couple of students in your flat or your student residence would be other university students, but not necessarily Verto students.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, we have a couple questions.
Of course.
Do you guys have any scholarship opportunities available for either one of these programs?
I can speak to that. Verto has an International Leadership Award that students can be nominated for by a teacher, a counselor, or a coach, somebody at their school that knows them really well, and they get nominated. It's more like a letter of recommendation, but it's done in a rubric format. And so we send the teacher, the counselor, the coach a rubric, and they score your student on a scale of 1 to 5 in things like leadership skills, extracurricular activities, achievements in and out of the classroom, character, these kinds of things. And then we send it to the scholarship committee, and they could award a scholarship from between $1,000 to $5,000.
Okay. Are we past the due date on that, or is that still available?
Well, it's interesting. So the priority deadline for that has passed, but in a meeting that I was at in last Friday, I was told that there is still money in that particular fund. Now, the deadline has also passed for our opportunity grant, which works only for Costa Rica. But I got notice today on that one that they're also going to be giving out some more on that one. Now, the opportunity grant is a needs-based grant, as opposed to the leadership scholarship I mentioned before, which is a merit-based one. So the opportunity grant, based on a family's finances, could be a $5,000 or a $10,000 grant towards the cost of that Costa Rica semester. The Costa Rica semester is $15,000, but if you happen to be able to get one of these grants, it could take the price down to $10,000 or even as low as $5,000.
Okay, so in order to try for the International Leadership Award, we need to contact you to get a hold of that form, the rubric.
Yes, well, what happens is you don't get a hold of the rubric. What I do is I share a link with your student. Actually, I can put it in the chat, but usually there's a process for making sure that you're in my customer service database if you're interested in Verto, and it's that vertoeducation.org/UT that I put at the beginning. That will help get your student into our customer service database where they could at least confirm their interest. It is not a final commitment to travel or study with us, but what it would allow me to do is to meet with you and to share with you that link so that they could get nominated for that award.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. My last question is tuition. Would we pay, if we did the bridge program, would you pay Pellissippi tuition and then housing at UT?
Yep, that's exactly how that works. All of your financial aid is also processed through Pellissippi. So they would be the ones to determine scholarships or grants or loans that would be available to you. If a student is in state, they are allowed to use Tennessee Promise or the Hope Scholarship, which can drastically reduce the cost of tuition at Pellissippi. And then, yeah, you have a separate bill basically for UT housing, a bridge fee, and like student services fees.
Okay, thank you so much. And then all the gen eds that they take, if they study abroad, they transfer, but they're just regular gen eds, not any major courses or anything like that for Bridge and for the Verta program.
That is
Right.
correct. That is correct for Bridge, and it is because Volunteer Bridge is a year of classes, so you are taking general education courses that would apply to directly to your major at UT. So the advisors at Pellissippi are going to work with the student to make sure, if they want to major in, something in arts and sciences, or if they want to major in social work, that they're taking classes specific to the major. And we have 2 advisors we work with really closely, so they know the Bridge program in and out. So they definitely provide some really good guidance on that.
From the
Tony-
Verto side of that, we have a really strong college counseling department that also will work with students to determine which courses in which locations would be the best fit for a student. All of our courses are general ed credits. Most of them count as core credits that will work for almost any major. A couple of them count as electives, but here again, working with our college counselors, students can determine which courses are going to be the best fit for them. We don't want students to have to duplicate credits. So if they've had AP courses or dual enrollment credit courses during high school, we want to make sure we're not duplicating those credits.
Okay, thank you so much.
I did want to follow up as well. Pellissippi State does offer scholarships. If you go onto their website and look at their financial aid and scholarship information, there are scholarships available there as well.
Hi, this is Christy Yang again. I had another question regarding Verto. So, so the application or the deadline to say that you're interested in Verto is May 3rd on the UT email, but then
That's correct.
Verto has a May 1 deadline for us to apply to them too, for my son to apply there too?
We will be following that May 3rd guideline as UT has stated it for this particular program.
Okay, so then, you don't need to apply to the Verto through
No,
Verto.
that's kind of the cool part because you've already been admitted to UT. You do not have to go through our regular admissions process.
Got
You don't
it.
have to send me a transcript or an essay or a letter of recommendation. None of that. You've already done that through UT. All you got to do is get on there at the vertoeducation.org/UT, tell which location you want to, and submit your deposit, and you're good to go.
Okay, wonderful. And then the last question is that with financial aid, is that something that we could talk to you directly about when I contact you?
Absolutely. And what happens is we have you add this college that Norma was talking about, Richard Bland College in Virginia. Once you have enrolled with us, then we have you add them to your FAFSA schools so that they can send you a financial aid package for the fall. But we ask you to wait until after you've enrolled with us, because then it can get over to their student accounting and show you as an enrolled student, rather than somebody who's not admitted saying, hey, I'm adding you to my FAFSA schools, what can I get, right? And so once you enroll with Verto, then you're able to add Richard Bland College to your FAFSA. You bet.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a few questions about the Bridge program.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So you said that all of the Bridge students live in the same like dorm. Are those all just Bridge students, or is it like a mixture of UT students and Bridge students?
So Clement Hall has 9 floors, and the Volunteer Bridge students take up 2 of those floors. I will say also that it's not required that you live on campus, that we do highly encourage it. So you could live in off-campus housing or something like that if that was also something you were interested in.
Okay. And would you say that the Bridge students mesh well with rest of UT, like they're like fit in well? It's not like they're like outcasts or anything like that.
No, honestly, I think that is a very valid concern and question. I totally understand why you ask. I think that for one thing, bridge students, I mean, when you're on campus doing your thing, nobody knows you're a bridge student. And really, I think it's all about your attitude and your willingness to put your, foot in the door somewhere. So if you want to join a club or organization, or, we have students on the SGA, we have students on the dance team. I mean, we have students really in a very public groups at UT. And then we have some students who are just more comfortable kind of hanging back at the dorm. So it really is so much about like what you're comfortable with. But yeah, UT has 30,000 students. So, and there's about 250 students approximately in this program. So yeah, I think you kind of just mingle in with everyone else is what I have observed.
Okay. And you said that there, like you can do everything that UT students do. Is there anything like a list of things that a bridge student wouldn't be able to do as like a normal UT student?
Sure.
A couple-
So bridge
things,
bridge
yeah.
students are not permitted to play NCAA sports or be a part of the Pride of the Southland band. Also not allowed to rush a fraternity, a Greek fraternity or sorority. And all of those rules are set forth by those organizations. So, the National Panhellenic Group says that that bridge students are not allowed to rush. And likewise, NCAA has very strict restrictions. So if one of those things is something that you're interested in doing it, you can do it your sophomore year, or there's lots of other ways to get involved at UT as well.
Okay, but like the bridge students can still participate in like club sports and stuff like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Club sports, intramural sports, absolutely.
You have any other questions?
And we're going to really encourage you to do that. So when you come in for your coaching appointments, that's one of the things that we always ask is like, what have you done? Like, what have you done since we last talked that really made you feel like a UT student? And that, what are you doing on campus? Are you going to the library? Are you, eating in the dining halls? Are you going to football games? Or are you playing? A lot of our students play rugby for some reason. There's always a strong rugby team component, which is super fun. All the bridge students go watch each other play. So, each cohort is different and really interesting in that way, as far as what people get involved with. But that's exactly what we want you to do.
Okay, perfect. And with being in this program and like taking classes at Pellissippi, would I have to apply to that college as well, or how does that work?
You do apply to Pellissippi. So if you agree to do the bridge program, then that's one of your first steps. And similar to what Shawneen said, you would also have Pellissippi added to your FAFSA. But Pellissippi is an open door institution, and they will accept you. So it's a step. It's a step you have to go through. But
Okay, thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, I do have one question. Can you shed some light on the Involved Summer Program? Or would that be a different?
So you know what? That also is ran out of my office and first year programs. I don't know if I can help you understand anything in detail about that program. What I do know is that you take 2 courses in the summer, you need a certain GPA, and then you're able to enter in the fall. I do know that there's academic support components of that as well. We also provide academic coaching for those students. But I'll tell you what I'll do in the chat. I will give you the email address of.
I can assist a little bit on the selection process. There are academic components that as our reviewers are reviewing files for admissibility, where they think that the best path forward with students are involved is an academic pathway for selected students, as you are with the Road to Rocky Top path.
Right.
So those are distinct invitations based upon analysis of academic background and supporting documents for our applicants based on a recruiter's review. That too does require a summer, it does require a summer start. So the students would take coursework during the summer. show progress, and then go into the fall. The distinction is you are an incoming freshman with the Involve program starting in summer. But again, that's an invitation only based upon analysis of an applicant's file and where we think that the strength lies in that pathway.
So is there someone that we could reach out to in regards to this?
In relative to getting access to that program,
Just understanding it a little bit more. I know you mentioned it has to be a certain GPA and academic components, but just to get a little more information about it and regarding
I
that.
would absolutely be delighted to help you in that regard, and I can put my email address in the chat.
Thank you.
Any student who has been offered Road to Rocky Top who's interested in that kind of path would have to go through an appeal committee to be considered.
That's fine. That's fine. And how often does the appeal committee review appeals?
As quickly as possible. We know our students, we meet every week, and we know our students need to make plans for their fall start. So they need to hear from us. So as soon as we assemble the committee and get the supporting documents, because during an appeal situation, the student is providing additional academic evidence that we didn't have prior to the original decision. So it's unique academic information, and that can take the form of a standardized test. It could be 7th semester. It could be an English and math teacher supporting the student, saying that they're capable of doing collegiate work. But it has to be based upon an academic change or an event. So for instance, if a particular student didn't share something that was impactful in the 9th grade, and we needed to know that was why poor grades were given in the 9th grade, and we didn't know that, then that's an event or a circumstance that wasn't part of the original evaluation. So those are the components, and I certainly can help you with that. I'll be glad to help you navigate that.
Nora, thank you so much. If you could put your email in the chat so we can reach out to you and,
I'll be glad to.
thank you so much.
Mhm. Anything else that anyone would like to know relative to our programs? Good questions. I didn't know answers to. That's great.
I was wondering if you could briefly go over just what like the housing situation would be like for studying abroad, maybe in London, for example.
Sure. The name of the apartments in the London semester is called Ability Towers, and it's about a 15-minute bus ride from our study center at AES there in the Russell Square area of London. We just got a recent video of a virtual tour of these accommodations, and they're really nice. Not only do you have a roommate, right? You also have a cleaning service. They come in once a week that they showed us on this video. And it was like, oh my gosh, they come in and clean for you once a week. But your flat has it's a combo washer and dryer. I've never seen that before, but it's both the washer and the dryer. So that's kind of cool. If I'm able, let me see. Am I able to share my screen? Let me see here. If I am, let me go here, because I can show you an example of what the flat looks like on the inside. So, all right. All right, are you folks able to see that? All right, so on the left is the study center there at AES. Bottom left is what the flat looks like. This is a 4-person flat. Again, you only get to see about half of the kitchen here, but it's clean and bright and well kept. And I can tell you that I was very impressed with the with the video that they sent when the gentleman did the walkthrough. So yeah, if you want to look it up, it's Ability Towers in the Russell Square area of London.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Where would you stay if you did the abroad program in Italy?
Again, I don't know the name of the actual student residence in that one, but I know that it is, like I said, about a 10 to 15 minute bus ride from the university there. Our academic partner there in Italy currently is Catholic University, and it's just a beautiful campus. Let me see if I've got a picture of what the, oh yeah, I've got a picture here of what the things could look like. So let me share here. And this is not the actual room, but this is somewhat what it would be like here on the bottom right, where it would be a 2-person room with shared bathroom facilities and shared kitchen facilities. And on the top right here, this is the Catholic University campus, just a beautiful central courtyard there. And they give us space. They're our academic partner there, and they give us space to hold classes there.
Hello. I have a question, like a couple of questions.
Okay.
So the first one is that I saw that you guys offer UT Promise for students, and I was wondering, since oh my God, sorry, the website said that you guys accept it if you qualify for Hope, right? But right now I don't qualify for Hope, and since I want to take the bridge program, is it possible that I can get it even though I don't qualify for the Hope, or is it necessary to qualify for the Hope?
So you are talking about the Tennessee Promise. I don't feel equipped to answer that question, actually. I think you would probably want to talk to the financial aid representatives from Pellissippi. Heather, unless you had some insight into that, it's just a really specific question.
It is a very specific question. So in Tennessee, you have, Tennessee Promise. Did you, if you did all of the steps to participate in Tennessee Promise, which is a last dollar scholarship for Tennessee students who attend community colleges. If you didn't qualify for the Hope, then, if you did all the steps that you needed to for Tennessee Promise, that would pick up and pay like the Pellissippi tuition and fees. It would not cover, because it's a last tuition scholarship, it would not cover the cost at UT. So students would have to apply for financial aid. If you qualify for any need-based aid, that would be applied. We do have students who take out student loans if they do not qualify or are not Hope eligible, and did not participate in the Tennessee Promise steps that were required. But you'd really want to reach out to someone in financial aid. I'm an admissions person, just to have them be able to talk through your circumstance. That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I understand. I'm talking about for the future years, like in the future, like for the if.
So for the Hope Scholarship, I think you have to qualify directly out of high school for that.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Is there any other? Paige, do you have your hand up, or?
That's a mistake. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll try to take it down.
It's okay. It's okay. Any additional questions or clarity that we can provide tonight? We appreciate you all tuning in to us and provide any kind of details. We will be having working with some more Verto partner folks tomorrow of our students. If you want to jump into that one, just send your email in the chat and we can invite you. If you think of some questions tonight that you'd like to talk to us about tomorrow with Verto, we also will be with other partners with Bridge on Friday. So if you'd like to hop in those, we can send them to you. It was good seeing all of you. Actually seeing names and faces, but please reach out to us if you have additional questions because we don't want you to leave without having an understanding and some sort of idea relative to a path forward. So we thank you this day and have a good evening.
Thank
Thank
you all.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.